Coming up on Laser Update, a 3-part series on the Office of Veteran Services and those helped by that office. And see what happened at the Makers Fair as we also check the pulse of the campus. Good afternoon from the Kathy Hawkins studio on the OCC campus. This is Laser Update. I'm Vincent Tran.
And I'm Cece Solomon. We begin today with the 3-part series on the Office of Veterans and Student Services.
First up, we get laser focused on that very office and its mission to help active and veteran service members achieve their success with their education. Robert Ferrick got the stories of 3 soldiers. First up is Specialist Charles Fair on how the Office of Veterans and Military Services helped him.
Colin Charles Fair. I'm a specialist, New York Army National Guard. This has helped me immensely, kind of just getting things done, finding a space, to talk to like-minded individuals and, be able to focus on what I need to do. I showed up at the Capitol around January 8th or 9th. I can't really quite remember the day I showed up, but I know I spent around 3 months there, and it was I've been to DC beforehand, but being there again was kind of weird just because the whole place felt a little more like a ghost town around the Capitol area.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of barriers, a lot of fencing, and showing up there and seeing around 26,000 other soldiers was definitely something I don't think I'm probably ever gonna really see again. But
Yeah,
it was definitely a huge shock to me how many people they could mobilize that quickly.
I'm sure it was just kind of weird being on home soil.
Yeah, it was definitely strange. It wasn't really that stressful at all. It was more just something I had to do. The only real thing it did was kind of it kind of slowed down my progress with college. I had to cut down to two online classes, but otherwise it was a pretty good experience.
This really shows off how unique the backgrounds of OCC students are. Many students come to OCC after tours overseas. Charles served his time in Washington, D.C. Stick around after the break for part 2.
No kidding. Now onto a different type of hero. We figured Batman and Spider-Man already have their fans, so this month we shine a spotlight on 3 different independent comics that are worth picking up on the pull list. First up, the evergreen property of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. IDW has been letting new writer Sophie Campbell reinvent many of the classic characters, the latest being the failed first female Ninja Turtle, Venus. First seen in the Turtles' only failed series, the live-action Next Mutation. In last month's book, 127, we see for the first time Venus's Frankenstein-inspired debut. And in this month's issue, 128, we find out if she is friend or foe. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is published by IDW and is rated teen.
Our next recommendation is Dynamite's Publishing's Elvira Meets Vincent Price. This ongoing series packs all of Elvira's campy adult humor into every issue. It's a love letter to horror legend Vincent Price, along with some surprising literary touches. Cassandra Peterson as Elvira works with Dynamite Publishing, doing a take on Dante's Inferno guided by the drag queen Divine. She also pokes fun at Creature from the Black Lagoon with a parody of The Shape of Water, and sprinkled with many classic horror references into every book. Book 6 is the perfect place to start as the last story wrapped into Book 5. Elvira Meets Vincent Price, published by Dynamite, rated teen as well.
And now for the random book that blew away our resident comic fans, Land of the Living Gods, written and created by South African author Isaac Magojane. The author's African roots are quite present throughout this book and beautifully brought to life by Santos' artwork. We follow an albino African woman in a near future village where all involves struggle looking to adapt to the new normal. This book and its team are definitely something to keep an eye on. Land of the Living God, Book 3, published by Aftershock.
Well, I know what's going to be in my cart when I get home. Coming up after the break, part 2 on Office of Veteran Services and a chat about what goes into picking the common read, but first, a check of the weather.
According to the National Weather Service, for Friday the 13th, the forecast is cloudy with a high in the 60s and a low in the 40s, with clouds likely to stick around through Sunday. But so far, no rain in the foreseeable future. See you again after the break.
Explore your potential, discover your talents, and transform your life at Onondaga Community College. Onondaga's expanding campus features 4 residence halls, the SRC Arena, and a new state-of-the-art building for the music department. Onondaga's diverse mix of students enriches classroom discussions, fuels creativity, and prepares you to be part of a community. Visit sunyocc.edu and discover why more than 40,000 students call OCC their alma mater. Explore your potential, discover your talents, and transform your life at Onondaga Community College. Onondaga's expanding campus features 4 residence halls, the SRC Arena, and a new state-of-the-art building for the music department. Onondaga's diverse mix of students enriches classroom discussions, fuels creativity, and prepares you to be part of a community. Visit sunyocc.edu and discover why more than 40,000 students call OCC their alma mater. Explore your potential, discover your talents, and transform your life at Onondaga Community College. Onondaga's expanding campus features 4 residence halls, the SRC Arena, and a new state-of-the-art building for the music department. Onondaga's diverse mix of students enriches classroom discussions, fuels creativity, and prepares you to be part of a community. Visit sunyocc.edu and discover why more than 40,000 students call OCC their alma mater.
We know how hard the end of the semester can be. So if you're having trouble, come on over to the Learning Center next to the cafeteria in the Gordon Student Center. We have tutors, private rooms, studying materials, and more. When you come in, just sign in at the front desk with our lovely workers. Just make sure to sign out when you're done. You can go to sunyocc.edu/thelearningcenter for more information.
Welcome back to Laser Update. I'm Cece Solomon. Our reporter, Robert Ferrick, wanted to check the pulse of the campus to ask students if the United States were invaded, similar to the Ukraine, would they be willing to step up?
It's kind of like a hard question since I'm from Iraq. So they also America also invaded, but
Yeah.
But I feel like I would help because I made memories here. I have friends here. I have people who I consider family now. So if America got invaded, I would definitely help in any ways I can. Thank you.
I don't really have much of an input on stuff like that, but I know that it's affecting a lot of people, and even people out here. Like my best friend's from Ukraine, so she has family out there right now, and she's really getting affected from it back at home. I'd do something for the community if I could, like helping out in volunteer work, non-perishable foods, donating them, helping people get back up on their feet, helping them with going places they need, if they need food brought to them, whatever, I do that.
Thankfully, our servicemen and women are there, so hopefully we never really have to answer that question. What would you do in that situation, Cece?
I'd probably help everyone in my area get to safety. And now for part 2 of our look into the office veterans and military services. This time, we're talking with Matthew Villanuevas. We learn about Matthew's military service and what brought him to OCC.
My name is Matthew Villanueva. In this office, I would have to say Steve White has helped me out the most, because before I came here, I was actually climbing cell phone towers, and that's not what I wanted to do, so I decided to stop in here one day in the office, and he talked to me, and we talked for almost a little bit over an hour, and he helped me walk through the process with going through the VA, getting my GI Bill and everything, and if I'm having bad days or anything, he's always there to bring me up and snap me back into reality with a lot of things. So he's a great guy, is what pretty much. Very great guy, very helpful. I was stationed at JBLM, and out there we have a place called YTC, which is Yakima. It's on the eastern side of the state. And I trained with many different armies. I trained with the German army, the Italians, Canadians, and the Japanese. And I would say my favorite army to train with was the Japanese, because they don't like to sleep out in the field, so I got to go home and sleep in a nice warm bed every night instead of sleeping out in the cold. So that was the plus, and it's really cool learning about all their cultures and everything and how different they are compared to our military and everything.
I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's really crazy how many corners of the world OCC manages to touch. Later, in part 3, Robert Ferrick speaks with Brian McDonald and wraps up our series about the Office, Veterans, and Military Services. Robert introduces us to librarian and associate professor of English, Michelle Malinowski, to discuss her job and what goes into selecting the common read for OCC.
Hi, my name's Michelle Malinowski. I am a librarian and associate professor of English. I'm here in the library. I work at the reference desk. I help students find research. I also work with the grants office to help faculty with their research. So if you're working on a grant project and need some help doing some background research, that's kind of part of my job. And working with various schools across campus to help them make sure that information literacy is being integrated into their courses for curriculum purposes. Yeah, so I am the chair of the Common Read Committee, and we're actually meeting tomorrow. We currently have a short list of 5 books. So how that works is every year we send out a request to the campus for suggestions on books they think that the campus would think would be great selections for the college to read, engage with, and we specifically try to find themes that are books that students would really engage with and be interested in that matter to our individual community. So usually in November, a survey goes out. We ask for recommendations. We take those recommendations and then get as many of the books as possible for the committee. There are 8 members on the committee. And we read our faces off until usually about the beginning of the spring semester, where then we take however many we've got and we create a short list. So we usually narrow down the big list to about 5 books we're still considering. And then we all try to read those 5 and then select the one book. After we've selected the book, which we're actually going to do on Wednesday of this week, we announce it to the campus and then start planning. So we look to see what courses we could integrate with, what possible lectures we could do on campus, what other various programming we can offer for both faculty, staff, and students to help everybody engage in one conversation about one book to help bring campus community.
Michelle Malinowski and all the librarians are a great resource not only to the students, but the school itself. Be sure to give them some love on your next visit to Coulter Library. To those interested, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was the front runner for the next semester's Common Read, but they decided on The Loneliest Polar Bear by Cale Williams. What a shame. I would have loved an excuse to read Frankenstein.
Definitely. But on the other interesting bit of Gothic fantasy, Vincent, have you seen The Legends of Vox Machina? Based on the Heat streaming D&D game, Critical Role, where a bunch of talented voice actors play D&D, all of whom reprise their respective roles in animated series. The Legends of Vox Machina its storyline is based on the darkly gothic Bearwood story. The superb animations really surprised me, especially how gory it got. If you're an adult fan of animation, this is a must-watch, available now, streaming on Amazon Prime.
Evil rises. Our only hope lies in these brave warriors.
What the
Right. Who else have we got?
I'm sorry, who the hell are you?
Let's go!
Come on, work!
You can't be seriously considering them for such a task.
Our reputation is less than stellar.
If killing for gold isn't getting us anywhere, maybe we try doing some good this time?
Boring. Kill Vox Machina. 50 this evil persists, the kingdom will starve to death. I suggest we run right now! Dad, we fight!
Grog, you're hurt.
No big question. Is this normal? Oh no.
I'll have to check that out after the show, because now I have to tell you about the sports calendar. Tomorrow, May the 10th, the Laser men's baseball team faces Jamestown Community College, and the women's softball team will play Corning Community College on the 11th. Saturday, the men's lacrosse will be at the NCJAA tournament in Garden City, New York, and the Lady Lasers lacrosse will be here at home on the Charles R. Wilbur Field to compete in the women's NCJAA tournament, so be sure to be there to root them on to victory. Now, onto lacrosse. The men's team crushed Herkimer Community College 27-4, while the Lady Lasers crushed Monroe Community College 22-8.
Let's take a look at the campus calendar. May 14th will be the last day of regular classes. Make sure you've studied because the week of May 15th is the finals week. May the odds be ever in your favor. Graduation ceremonies will be on May 21st, so make sure you've registered so you can walk the stage with the rest of your class. And finally, grades will be available on your transcript May 26th. Coming up after the break, we wrap things up with the Makers Fair and we see the last part of our look at the Office of Veterans Services. Stay tuned to later updates.
Explore your potential, discover your talents, and transform your life at Onondaga Community College. Onondaga's expanding campus features 4 residence halls, the SRC Arena, and a new state-of-the-art building for the music department. Onondaga's diverse mix of students enriches classroom discussions, fuels creativity, and prepares you to be part of a community. Visit sunyocc.edu and discover why more than 40,000 students call OCC their alma mater. Explore your potential, discover your talents, and transform your life at Onondaga Community College. Onondaga's expanding campus features 4 residence halls, the SRC Arena, and a new state-of-the-art building for the music department. Onondaga's diverse mix of students enriches classroom discussions, fuels creativity, and prepares you to be part of a community. Visit sunyocc.edu and discover why more than 40,000 students call OCC their alma mater.
It's that time of the year where everyone wants to buy Christmas gifts, but it's also that time of the year where some people don't have the money to buy them. Are you trying to make a few extra bucks to buy some gifts for this Christmas? OCC Bookstore is now hiring. Work part-time or full-time for $12.50 per hour. Located on Whitney Hall. You can work while still being a student, get job experience, and still make money out of it. Apply now on sunyocc.edu.
Explore your potential, discover your talents, and transform your life at Onondaga Community College. Onondaga's expanding campus features 4 residence halls, the SRC Arena, and a new state-of-the-art building for the music department. Onondaga's diverse mix of students enriches classroom discussions, fuels creativity, and prepares you to be part of a community. Visit sunyocc.edu and discover why more than 40,000 students call OCC their alma mater.
Hello again, I'm Vincent Tran, and welcome back. In this report, Robert Ferrick walked the floor at the first Syracuse Makers Fair, and here's what happened.
Robert Ferrick here. Did you know that Saturday, April 2nd, OCC hosted the first Syracuse Makers Fair? The excitement is almost palpable just before opening. With this droid opened up, I just had to get a look on the inside. I'm amazed at every movie-accurate detail of this R2 unit. With the Syracuse Maker Fair being open to the public, the entire family could come and enjoy the show. By far the biggest hit was the 3 groups of Star Wars cosplayers and the group's droid builders. It seemed as if the entire Star Wars universe was there, even Baby Yoda. There was also a HEMA group there, or Historical European Martial Arts. Unfortunately, there were no combat displays while I was filming, but their equipment was fascinating nonetheless. When you first hear the word maker, you assume it's high-tech, but multiple craftsmen were available showing off their skills from multiple decades of human ingenuity. It's mind-boggling considering the number of hours it took to machine all the fine parts for these steam engines. They had a fascinating table where you could learn how to solder your own little maker robot. Usually when I try to solder things, I end up burning my fingers more than fixing the circuit board. Every maker was excited to share their enthusiasm and teach the next generation. These little bug bites could very well inspire these girls to create the robots that help us colonize Mars. And with such an amazing first year, who knows what the future holds? I'm Robert Ferrick. Back to you guys in the studio.
Man, I'm sorry I missed it. Sounds like it was lots of fun. Be sure to stay tuned on Laser Update for everything going on at the next Makers Fair. For those of you who still aren't sure about what a Makers Fair is, a Makers Fair is someone whose hobby and often career has them building and creating projects. The most famous makers being the Mythbusters. Next, Robert Ferrick finishes his report on the Office of Veterans and Military Services in Part 3, featuring Brian McDonald, to wrap up the discussion on OCC's Office of Student and Military Services.
Sergeant Brian McDonald. It's been phenomenal. Steve single-handedly probably pushed me over the edge to actually finally come back to school. He, in this office, has been kind of that rock for the last semester and now this semester too. Kind of gives me the structure and the help and the surroundings to help be successful. One of the best parts was getting to go to South Africa. I got to do about a month in South Africa, train with the South African Army, interact with the soldiers from South Africa, and then we actually got to go out on a day off in Grahamstown, South Africa, and spend the time in the stores, in the restaurants, in the bars, and hang out with the civilians in South Africa and kind of talk to them. That was cool. We got to drive across the entire country basically, which was really cool to see. To me, South Africa's the parts that we saw was kind of like driving across America, where it's, you got the ocean, you got mountains, you got forests, you got deserts, you got a little bit of everything, and you get to see it all crossing through there. So that was pretty cool.
We really hope this series gives a face to all the soldiers that serve. Far too often, humanity and the truth are the first casualties in any conflict. We hope this series has taught you that our soldiers are people and students just like you.
It's amazing all the different places OCC students have touched and will touch in the future. But unfortunately, we've come to the end with that.
But we hope you enjoyed our time together, and we'll see you next semester for Laser Update.